everybody, Firstborn 5 meteorologist Melissa Meeder here with you on this Firstborn Weather Day. I will dive into the details about what's going on right now, what the latest trends are for this round 2 and round 3 of strong to severe storm potential. So keep in mind, right now, there is, as we take a closer look at what's currently happening first, there is a tornado watch that is in effect until 10 p.m. tonight for our northwestern areas. That does include portions of northeastern Kansas, our northwestern Missouri counties, and then in between our I-29 and I-35 corridor along the northern border. So tornado watch is in effect until 10 tonight. Large hail, damaging winds, and that risk for tornadoes are all there for this tornado watch. However, we are watching this spot very closely for any development. This is the better chance to see that supercell activity. But we are also watching for later on for round 3. As you can see, there's a 40% chance that we could see a watch, whether that be a tornado or a severe watch, as we go later into tonight with that third round for our southeastern half of the area. So right now, our general thinking is there's the tornado threat that's northwest of Kansas City overall. Later tonight, likely going to see a line of strong to severe storms move in. That comes with a cold front. It's going to wipe through the area, and that does include the Kansas City metro. Radar right now is fairly quiet at this point. We've kind of had a cluster of storms move in for our southeastern counties. Clinton, Benton County, up towards Sedalia, moving in towards Sheridan County soon enough. But other than that, there has been some light rain showers that have developed kind of along the northern side of the metro. But as we go through the next couple of hours, we're going to watch what is going on all the way over into portions of southeastern Nebraska. So keep in mind, southeastern Nebraska is in that tornado watch area. But what we're watching at this point is as the cold front for this round number 3 comes in, ahead of it, it may lodge some strong to severe storms ahead of it. And that would generally be in this vicinity ahead of the front. So while the supercell risk and the stronger tornado threat right now is towards the northwest, I do want to emphasize as well with this, when we see the line move in closer to around 9, 10 o'clock into our northwestern areas, those storms for the line need to form first. They could form more isolated. The cold front comes in, conglomerates them together into a line. If that's the case, I think early on as that line moves in, there could be a higher tornado threat for our northwestern areas. And then we transition more to a wind threat as it gets closer to the Kansas City metro. However, tornado spin-ups will still be possible along that line, especially because it's very easy with lines to get a little bit of spinning of the winds and see a brief little spin up here or there. I do think that's going to continue to be a possibility as we go into round 2 or into round 3. So round number 2, we have been messaging, is the round that we may or may not see happen. Not really seeing a whole lot right now. We've got now until about 8 o'clock until we start to see that second round come in. Now, I do want to show you, too, what models were spitting out for around 5:30. If you look up towards our northwest, there are rain and thunderstorms up there, firing up along that line. The environment, for whatever reason, right now in the northwestern areas and into portions of southeastern Nebraska, as well as southwestern Iowa, having a little bit of a hard time to develop storms at this point. We are expecting them to develop, though, along the front as we get a forcing. But as you can see, that activity mainly from the southeastern areas, from Clinton to Benton County, lifting up towards the northeast. Maybe by 8, 9 o'clock, we see some isolated storms, mainly east of I-35. And then we set up by 9 o'clock for the line. As you could start to see that line forming by 9 p.m. closer to Maryville, Atchison County. So to kind of review overall, round number 1 has come to an end. Now we're in round number 2. The supercell potential right now is mainly in the northwest, where there is that tornado watch. That could be closer to the later evening time frame as we await the cold front that will lodge rain and thunderstorm activity once we get into round number 3. So as we go into round number 3, that's when we see that line of storms move through 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. It's likely strong winds are the primary threats, but those tornado spin-ups will be a possibility. With that being said, if we see the ingredients are there right now in the tornado watch. If a strong storm gets going to severe, it poses all threats in our northwestern areas where that tornado watch is. But as we go into around round 3, once we get closer to the later evening hours as that front starts to move through, that is when there also is the possibility in our northwestern areas to have maybe a little bit of a tornadic threat as well. So as we go into the 3rd round, this is the primary threats. 60 plus mile per hour winds. Hail will likely be around quarter size or a little bit more, but wind by far is the primary threat. Notice hail and brief spin up tornadoes still there, but lower than wind. The front comes through by the time we get to about 9 p.m. into the northwestern areas. Notice we get closer to around 10, 11 o'clock. We've got widespread rain and storms around the area. Embedded within this line, we're looking at the potential for strong to severe storms once again. So round number 3, we could see a few develop along that line to be strong to severe. We could see an entire line of strong to severe storms. We are going to watch the line as it starts to develop into portions of southeastern Nebraska and our northwestern counties. 11 o'clock to around 1 o'clock, it's off to our southeastern areas. So this line is going to be very quick moving. And really on the leading edge of the line is where we're going to probably find the strongest winds on the leading edge. That's typically what we see when we see these kind of linear setups. They will start to lose their individuality and, kind of conform and become one conglomerate line versus maybe earlier on, they're more isolated, starting to form into a line. We will then go through the rest of the night and we clear out by Saturday morning. There are pockets of heavy rain that are going to be a possibility, especially in more of those stronger to severe storms. As you can see, closer to around a quarter to about 3/4 of an inch widespread more of rain across the area, but there are pockets of some yellows in there, some reds in there. Those areas, if you get caught under those stronger to severe storms, could pick up an inch, inch and a half, maybe some isolated higher amounts than that. So we are looking at heavy rainfall being a possibility as well, especially if you get caught underneath one of those stronger to severe storms too. So round number 2, that cloud cover, that rain that lasted just about till 2 o'clock this afternoon in the Kansas City metro area did weaken, of course, the potential for round number 3. As our atmosphere is a little bit more stabilized in the metro versus what's happening to the northwest. So our supercell risk has lowered, and now the greatest risk is going to be those damaging winds that come from a line of storms tonight. So round number 2, now to 8 p.m., there is still going to be maybe some showers and thunderstorms out there, but overall the supercell risk has lowered. The greatest risk is now damaging winds from the line of storms tonight. Also watching tonight the potential for hail and then quick spin up tornadoes. So right now on radar, as you can see, Rain and storms are off along our eastern counties, southeastern counties. We've gotten some rain that's been lifting up to the north. Light rain showers in Smithville, up towards Lathrop, Cameron, Stewartsville, over towards Leavenworth as well. So those are lifting up. I do think spotty activity continues to be possible, but as we kind of take a wider look, and I'm going to switch radars so we can get, because the radar I've got on right now is for our specific radar in Pleasant Hill. But I want to be able to show you kind of what we're watching over towards Salina. Thunderstorms starting to form. That's where the front is. So the front, if I were to draw it, kind of right, oh, that was a bad line. Kind of right here. And it's going to be getting closer to here, and then eventually by 9 o'clock get to around our northwestern counties. So I'm going to take a look to see if we've got any questions as well, because there's been a lot of things that are happening and been changing over the course of today. Okay, are you going to be live during round 3? We are going to continue to have the latest updates. So even as we get closer to round number 3, 9, 10 o'clock, if we do have warnings, if we've got severe thunderstorm warnings or we've got tornado warnings, we will be either, if we've got severe thunderstorm warnings, we will be live on here. If we've got tornado warnings, we will be live on TV, but also be live on streaming. So we are going to be here through the entirety of the event. And as we continue, we're going to see the potential for those rain and storms to really move through the area. Confidence overall in round number 2 was low, and it has been low over the last couple of days. We didn't know if we were going to see any storms at all. If we did, if they were going to become supercells. But that's where we have that potential, and that's where we've got to make sure that you guys know that there is that possibility, and we don't want you to be caught off guard. So as soon as we learn that information, we will let you know. So I want to go back kind of over this again, because now that we're in that round number 2 time frame, we're getting set up for round number 3, and I kind of want to explain more information too about, maybe if you're just joining us. Oh. Okay, so it looks like we got a new update here. I have the notifications on my phone. Looks like, let's see. It may take a couple seconds to load into. All I got was the notification. Let's take a look. Let me get a closer look here. We had a little bit of an issue earlier today of getting in the tornado watch into our system, so it may be a little bit longer, maybe a couple minutes until we get it in. But it looks like they issued let's see. Maybe not. All right, hold on. We'll hold on to that here in just a second. Wait till we see if anything changes or loads. But as for right now, okay. Looks like there are some changes happening on here. Sorry, I'm learning this information real time, and I can't get any of the links to work to tell me what's going on. All I know is that a tornado watch was issued somewhere in the area. So I'm waiting to see where. But right now, the tornado watch that's in effect is in the northwestern areas. If you see down towards our south, just south of our area, the flashing orange, that is a new tornado watch. I'm wondering if that's all they included. And I'm thinking that's probably not. Does it say one? Does it show up for you? On National Weather Service Twitter. Okay. Is it across the area?
All south of us.
Okay.
Nevada is about as north as it
Oh, okay. Thanks, Greg. Okay, so it's coming on the National Weather Service website. Has not come in on our system yet. Let me pull this up so I can give you the exact spots. Okay, it does include Bates and Henry County. All right. Okay. Okay, the only two counties in our viewing area are Bates and Henry County. That will continue until 1 a.m. tonight. Primary threats include a few tornadoes likely, with a couple of intense tornadoes possible, scattered large hail, isolated very large hail events of 2 inches in diameter, likely, and scattered damaging wind gusts to 70 miles per hour. So that was just me reading from our website, from the Storm Prediction Center website. So that's going to likely account for, of course, what is coming in later tonight as well, because this is a little bit longer on in the area. I'm hoping that we will get this into our system so we could show you a little bit better. But maybe we'll have to wait, and I'll come back to that. So we'll go back over there. Know that there is a new tornado watch, though. That includes Bates and Henry County in our area. That continues until 1 a.m. tonight. So that is new as of now. Unfortunately, our system is moving a little bit slow and not including that and pushing that into our graphics just yet. We are going to continue to watch as we go through the next couple of hours. This round that's currently ongoing, this is round number 2. I know many of us, myself included, heard the noisy rain and thunderstorms last night and into this morning. Those lingered a little bit longer, took some of the available energy in the atmosphere in some pockets of our area and dwindled it down. So now we are looking at the potential for round number 2, but not a whole lot is going on right now across our radar. We've got rain and storms that are moving out towards the east. Things are kind of quieting down, some spotty showers towards the north. There is a severe thunderstorm warning just north of our border into portions of southwestern Iowa. But if we take a kind of larger look, this is kind of what's going on in the region. Things are a little bit quieter right now at this point. Okay, it looks like it does include, here we go. We're finally starting to get it into our system. I heard our meteorologist, Mike Nico, shout at me from across the room to tell me that. So I assume this is going to be the same. Yeah, Bates and Henry counties, and they're adding, okay. We've got a little bit more too. So it's along that southeastern border. And that is also a tornado watch as well. Let's see how far south that goes down. Okay, pretty far south. So these will be our 2 areas to watch. Of course, tornado watch, as we go through the next couple of hours. As I mentioned, our northwestern areas in that tornado watch, we're going to be watching for potential supercell development. However, the environment has been the environment has been preventing that a little bit. However, once we see the cold front start to move into the area, that's when we're likely going to start seeing those lodging of rain and thunderstorms that could turn strong to severe. And they're likely going to be a little bit more isolated rather than along a line at first. They will then conglomerate together and then continue to push down through the area. So Here's what that looks like here on one of our models. I'm going to play it a little bit further for you. All right. So here we go. 8 p.m. Notice that storms are starting to form to the northwest. Along that line, they push and get a little bit closer together, forming more of a line from Maryville over towards just west of Lawrence. We then continue to see that line drop through. However, notice what's going on to the southwest. Warrensburg, Clinton, Sedalia, ahead of that line. Some more isolated cells. So that will track along our southeastern areas. And then here we are at 11 o'clock p.m. As this moves through the metro, that line, ahead of that line, looking to be a little bit more of rain and thunderstorm activity, which I would assume also they're accounting for in that tornado watch. Then, by about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's pushing out. We're clear of rain by 7 a.m. Saturday. All right. Let's go back to this so I can show you a little bit better now that this is all together. So Kansas City right now split, the Kansas City Metro split between the two tornado watches. The tornado watch in the northwest continues until 10 p.m. The tornado watch along our southern border continues until 1 o'clock this morning. So as we go into the next couple of hours, we'll watch the northwest for development of rain and storm activity, likely going to be isolated at first. Those could be strong to severe, pose all threats, and then form into that line for the cold front that comes through. To our southeastern counties, we may see more rain and thunderstorm activity develop towards the south, drift up into our area from the southwest to the southeast, and that also poses the potential for large hail, strong winds, and that tornado threat as well. So those are the kind of two totally new things. Of course, that the new tornado watch just came in. I do want to let you know, though, too, that once we get into Saturday, the weekend looks nice. So let's kind of take a look at the weekend here, because I know, maybe people had to reschedule some plans or do some other things, but the weekend is much quieter. It is calmer. 54 as your high temperature on Saturday. So it will be a little bit colder because of the cold front, but sunshine will be back for the first time for many of us in nearly a week. And then Sunday will be even nicer, around 68 with sunshine, pure sunshine, and warm conditions. So your Saturday, Sunday look to be nice after rain and thunderstorm activity today and last night and into tonight. I want to take you look at our 7-day forecast as well before I check to see if there's any more questions. Right now with round number 2 and round number 3, it's a little bit more fluid at this point, especially as we watch the potential of any of that activity from the northwest develop and what is coming in from the southwest as well. Southwest drifting into the southeast. So Monday, nice, great day, 78, warmest day of the next 7 days. Sunday, keep in mind, even though I talked about Sunday, it's nice, get out and enjoy it, but we will lose an hour of sleep. So daylight saving time begins on Sunday. That means 7 a.m. sunrise, but a 7 p.m. sunset. So 7:39 is when the sun will come up in the morning. Sunset, 7:17. We will start to see our high temperature, of course, a little bit later because of that time change, closer to around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So keep that in mind, that 3, 4 o'clock is still going to be your warmest time frame. Monday, Tuesday comes, a first warn's in place. That is the next potential for strong to severe storms on Tuesday. A cold front's going to be coming in. We're going to see that potential for strong to severe storms again. A level 2 out of 5 risk is highlighted across the area on next Tuesday for at least the northeastern half. This front looks to move through a little bit later on in the day, so it looks like Tuesday, later evening into the night. We're dry but cooler by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the mid to upper 50s. So we've got a couple days to recuperate after we have this severe weather risk today, this evening, and into tonight. And then we have another severe weather risk on Tuesday. So I'm going to put it back on radar to show you what's going on. I'm going to look to see if I've got any questions that I can answer. And then myself, Chief Meteorologist Luke Doris, and our meteorologist Mike Nico are here all through the rest of the entirety of this event. And our Stevie Stevenson will be coming back early on in the morning as well on Saturday. So all of us will be here as we go through this event, bringing you the latest information as we learn it. So let me take a quick look to see if we've got any more questions that I can answer. Okay. Okay, questions about in the metro, if Cass County, or really in the metro area, will be under a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch. So, a couple hours ago, the Storm Prediction Center had put out a 40% chance for portions of the metro and down towards the southeast for a watch. That's going to be later on with that line. I think they may be waiting to see how that line starts to develop to know if we will need a tornado or a severe thunderstorm watch. But right now, there's about a 40% chance of a watch. Overall, the tornado threat is the highest as we go into the rest of this evening, into tonight, for the portions of northwestern Missouri, northeastern Kansas, and then down to our southeastern counties into Benton County, into our other counties down to the south. So those two areas pose the greatest risk. However, with round number 3, as that line comes in tonight, the primary threat in the metro area for tonight's line is going to be straight line winds. However, when we start to get a QLCS setup, which is basically a linear setup, which is what we're expecting to see tonight, that is when just few little notches can happen, a little bit of turning with height, and there are the potential for a few tornado spin-ups when we start talking about lines and linear forms of rain and storms along a cold front. So overall, the two areas in the tornado watch right now have the highest potential, or I should say, have the better conditions at this point to see tornadoes. In the metro, you're not in the watch. We are not in a watch at all right now. However, we still pose the threat for some spin-up tornadoes as we go into the timing tonight between about 9 and 1 a.m. That is when we could see some quick tornado spin-ups. So as we go through the next couple of hours, of course, we're going to continue to learn more of how that line is going to unfold, particularly because we'll see it forming into portions of Nebraska first, then drifting up into our area. We're going to watch down towards our south, where we have the other tornado watch, as we could see activity building up from south, from Oklahoma, into our area. So, myself, Chief Meteorologist Luke Doris, our meteorologist Mike Nico will all be with you here through the rest of the night tonight. Stevie Stevenson will be coming in tomorrow morning and into the early hours of tonight. That's the latest information I've got for you on this evening. We're going to continue to watch it. We will be bringing the latest data on air online and on our First Warn 5 weather app. We'll all have the First Warn 5 weather show here shortly at 6:30. We'll take another deeper dive into this, as well as Chief Meteorologist Luke Doris is probably just about to be on KCTV5 right now at 6 p.m. So if you want more information, we've got it coming for you, and we will have the entire team here with you for the rest of this evening and into tonight, bringing you the latest information and any weather alerts that we have. So we'll continue to update you. Our next kind of longer form streaming would be around 7 to 7:30, that time frame. So we'll be basically on air for the next hour, one of us, and then our meteorologist Mike Nico will be back with you later on this evening, 7:30, bringing you the latest information. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their evening. Make sure to have several ways to receive weather alerts. We'll continue to keep you updated.